Well, welcome back, Carlaw Park Diehards podcast number 7. Podcast number 7. I know. People think we throw the show together, Gordy.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? We've got a great number 7 with us today.
Yeah, we have.
And before we get into all of that, special thank you to all the subscribers, the viewers. YouTube seems to be going really well for us, mate, for this.
Very good.
Get to see all the handsome blokes, which we're about to introduce very shortly. Big thank you to Sony and Mike Farrelly Photos, and of course,
Of the New Zealand Rugby League Museum, where we do the podcast recording from. Beautiful place to do this. You can feel the history of the game. But hey, let's not muck around because we have got the numbers, the number 7, originally from the Ellerslie club in the Auckland Rugby League Premier Division, where he became an absolute legend and returned as coach for the Eagles, and also was part of the founding committee for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders. He was one of my rugby league heroes, and he still is. He's one of the best halfbacks of his time, playing 22 test matches in a total of 43 games for the Kiwis. He captained also in 1974, was part of the Auckland sides when they played and defeated a number of international teams, was NZRL Player of the Year in 1974, as well as receiving numerous other awards. He was elected onto the New Zealand Rugby League Board of Directors in 1988, serving a 4-year term, returning for another 4-year term a few years later. You've got to be tough as nails to do that, I'll tell you. He was inducted into the New Zealand Rugby Legends of League in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, he is, of course, the one and only Mr. Kenny Stirling. Welcome, Kenny. Welcome, my friend. It's an absolute honour to have you here.
Thank you very much, Gordy, for that intro.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, it was impressive, mate. That was impressive.
Well, mate.
And he was Player of the Year 2 years running, back-to-back, 74 and 75 for New Zealand. There you go.
So what was the trophy that you received back then for the Player of the Year? Was that the Rothfull Trophy? No.
It was...
Rothmans, eh?
No.
Back when smoking was good for you.
No, I think it was named after one of the original players.
Oh, okay.
I should remember that one.
Yeah, we'll have to find that out. We'll have to find that. Hey, look, we need to start. Let's go back to your early years. When and where did you start? And what do you remember of those early years, mate? And how old were you?
I started as a 4-year-old at Devonport Domain for North Shore.
Oh, North Shore.
The Albions.
Yeah, the Albions.
Yeah.
And my dad had played for North Shore years earlier, and I played for them through till I left North Shore as a 17-year-old. I played 17-year-old senior footy at North Shore, and then went to Ellerslie. But in the meantime, I did have 1 year for Point Chev when secondary school took all the North Shore players to play in the first 15, and I wasn't going to play rugby, so...
Now, I know a little bit about that story. To get to training was a bit of a mission.
It was, yeah.
Trains, planes, bikes, buses.
I used to get the bus home from school to Devonport, and then I would walk down to the ferry. I'd get the ferry to the city, and then I'd get a bus out to Point Chev.
Oh my gosh!
And then after training, one of the parents would run me back to the ferry, and I'd get the ferry over and walk home.
That's the love of the game, eh?
I was always only going to play rugby league. I was very, very keen on it.
Did you have pressure at school for you to play rugby or to have a go?
Yes, there was. But the one good thing, and funnily enough, I met one of the sports masters at a reunion years later, and he said, "How come I can't remember you playing rugby for the school?" And I said, "Well, because I didn't." And he said, "Well, how did you get away with that?" And I said, "Oh, I was that small. Nobody ever thought I could play rugby in the rugby league." But it was another time after that I had to go to the headmaster to ask for permission to go to a rugby league schoolboy tournament.
Bet you that went down like a bucket of sick.
Well, it did. He said, he hummed and he hawed, and he said, "We don't usually let people off for professional sports," he said. So that was the feeling of the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did let me go. Yeah.
Right, good on him.
Yeah,
I would have gone anyway.
Because if North Shore Albions had still been in existence, they would have been the oldest club in Auckland, wouldn't they?
They would have been pretty much there, I think, original.
Ponsonby was just after that. So Ellerslie, and of course that became your heart and soul, and you became an absolute legend at Ellerslie along with a number of other players. So going to Ellerslie, what do you remember of those early days?
Well, I was 17 when I first played senior footy for North Shore, and I played 2 seasons for them, and they got relegated. So in 1970, I was very close to going to Ponsonby.
Wow.
And then
imagine that team. Oh, my God.
So why didn't you?
I ran into an Ellerslie coach.
Yep, that'll do.
yeah, the Ellerslie coach. So Maury Robertson, sorry.
Maury Robertson, yeah.
And he heard that I was shifting, and I went to Australia for the summer, and I worked over there for 3 months and I got a call from the Ellerslie committee to see if I would go and play out there. Wow. Maury was really keen on me going. So
good coach too. Maury
yes,
Robertson.
He was. Yes, yeah. So I went, and that's how I got to be at Ellerslie.
Yeah, and what do you remember there? The players there when you first went there?
Good question.
Oh, when I first went there Doug was there, Doug Gailey,
of course,
Robert Orchard.
Oh, cheapest.
It was a really good team. Brian Clark, quite a few Kiwis were there.
Yeah.
And Johnny Young, he'd come back from Australia. So it was a very good team to go to.
Great pack to be behind.
Yeah. Luminiac. Yeah.
Mm.
And so how'd you go that first year?
I went pretty well.
Yeah.
I really put a lot of it down to Maury. Maury Robertson was a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to you. He had plenty of volume in his voice all the time, but then he would take you aside and you'd have all yarn to him. What did you do this for? And we should have done this. And he was a great coach, and I really put a lot of my success down to his coaching and through those years.
Yeah.
Did that help with communication with these big boys? Because, that's a massive pack, and, barking orders at them around the park.
They got the same. Yeah. In fact, there was one training night that Doug was trying to line Maury up.
That's not a place you want to be.
No. It all turned into a big joke in the end, but it was a bit of fun. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, you just mentioned some of those legends of our game there at Ellerslie, and of course that Auckland team. Oh my gosh, that 71, and those guys in that Auckland team, they were just absolute superstars of the game.
That's right, and I was really lucky coming in. I was only 21 when I came into that Auckland team.
Yeah.
And I got picked on the Kiwis that year too, but Auckland was so dominant that year, and they. To be honest, I don't think we lost a game all year, and that's including playing Australia.
Yes. No, I remember some of those games, and I don't want to jump ahead too quickly, but you mentioned the test that year as well. How exciting was that first test match for New Zealand?
Yeah. Pretty nerve-wracking when you're walking out and it's your first test. And
very, very strong indeed. 5 South Sydney players playing today for Australia. And now the New Zealand side. And 2, we see that 9 Aucklands are in. A late defection has occurred. Number 2, John Whittaker, taking the place of Bob McGuinn, the Auckland wing three-quarter, who was hurt last Saturday in a club match. 2 newcomers, Stirling, number 7, and also we have Mike McLennan, the fullback. The referee today is Mr. John Percival. Whittaker. Beautiful tackle, Campbell. 25-yard line. Rounded up, plays it. Stirling. Christian, New Zealand captain. Heatley trying to sell a dummy. Redden, the Canterbury wing three-quarter, 25-yard line. Williamson there. Heatley a dummy half. New Zealand look good at the moment. Smith this time. Tarana, Stirling. And Christian, Rava, they're inside Australian territory, 25-yard line. The Whittaker, has he got the legs? There it is, try number 2. John Whittaker, the Wellingtonian, wing three-quarter. And for New Zealand, look at the replay. Stirling lobbing high this time. Christian, Rava, catching the Australians at the moment. And you see where Brannigan came in, the number 5, and left to Whittaker, and that was the mistake by the Australians.
But I was, I think I was ready for it. As I said, I'd been involved in the game all my life. I really had studied and looked at other halfbacks and the way they played, and I used to go over, and when the Kiwis were going on tour, I used to go over and watch their training at Carlaw Park before they went away. And
in that 71 test, who's around you? Who can you see as you're coming out onto the field for your debut?
I don't know that I saw very much at all.
Adrenaline, Adrenaline.
We went out and I was extremely nervous when the national anthem was played, and I'm really pleased we didn't sing it in those days because I wouldn't have I don't think I'd have got a word out. But pretty nervous. The opposition they weren't slugs. Australia had all their good players in there then, and Ron Coote and all of those sorts of guys, and they had a good side out.
Yeah.
Because there's some marvellous photos of you, Kenny, at Carlaw Park, covered in head to toe in mud. So Carlaw Park itself, what does that mean to you? That whole atmosphere, the regency of that ground. What
yes. The crowd was so close down on the not the terraces, the grandstand side.
Yes.
And I mean, they're almost on the park with you.
Yeah.
It was actually quite good because I came out and I looked into the first part of the stand. And my dad was sitting there.
Nice.
Yeah. And,
great memory.
Yeah,
great memory.
It was. Yeah.
And coach, who's that coach for you then?
Laurie Blanchard.
Yeah. Another wonderful coach.
Yeah, he was. And Laurie had a particular skill I realised later is that Laurie didn't overcoach. He let the team. When we were in 1971, we had a very experienced team. We had Tony Krillitich and Roy Christian and all of those guys, and he just guided us at training. He didn't overtrain or anything like that. And it was only for years after that I realised that that's what he was doing. I just thought he was maybe not the coach everyone thought he was, but he just guided that team through that year, and I really give him points for that.
Yeah. Is a toughie for you? So of all your test matches, which one stands out?
I think it would be the first test because of the way we won the game, and I was fortunate enough to have a good game in my first test, so that kept me there for the next games. But I think it was such a dominant win that was unexpected, really, from the team. And I mean, at Carlaw Park with the Carlaw Park crowd behind you too, that was amazing. Yeah.
To have that first win though, you must have given you so much confidence, that these guys are beatable.
Yes.
And you took that sort of mindset into the rest of the games.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when we went to the UK, we went over to the UK later in the year, UK and France, and with that win behind us, and as you say, we knew we could do it. Yeah. And we did have a bit of confidence.
Were you a good tourist? Did you enjoy going away?
What's the terminology of good tourist? Hey? Were you in bed before curfew?
Well, I didn't want to say that straight out.
Well, touring is touring is enjoyable, and you'll never play better football than when you're on tour.
Yeah,
because you're training every day, you're living the life, you're living with the guys.
Living the dream.
Yes, you're living the dream. And you're playing. The team is playing 2 games a week. You're obviously only playing one of the games, and you're so entrenched in the football thought all that time that you just don't play any better than when you're on tour.
And for people who haven't toured, the different vibe in being a midweek player and striving to get to the weekend, the big games and what have you. Yeah. What was the dynamics of the team, of your touring squad? You had a good group guys?
We had a really good group, and as you can understand, if you're a player, you're only getting the midweek games, it could be easy to
wander off.
Yeah, and not be as dedicated as it should be. But once again, I think that was the strength of the team. Yeah. I think it was the strength of the managers and the coach. And keeping us in a really good tight group.
Yeah. Who was your manager?
Bill O'Callaghan.
Bill, yeah.
He was the head manager, and Jack Williams from the coast was the other manager.
Yeah. How was your first tour? What was the results?
Oh, we beat Great Britain 2-1.
Yes.
And we beat France 2-1 drawn.
Yes, that's
okay.
Right. That's
yeah.
Right. And who stands out from you player wise on that tour?
Well, John Whittaker really came of age there. He went away as a winger, and they played him at fullback in the first test against Great Britain. And he had an amazing game. He really did. He was, and he really came on well. But Dennis Williams was away on his first tour.
Oh, yeah, 18, wasn't he? Wasn't he 17 or 18?
He was 17 the day he was named for the test, but he turned 18 the day of the test.
Yes, that's right.
And the first time he touched the ball, he scored a try.
He scored a try. Yeah, I saw.
What was the vibe with the team around that? This young boy in 18 birthday scores try debut.
Yeah, well, it was probably. I'm not so sure we all picked up on it in the game because we're just back into it again, you know.
Yep.
But Dennis was he was an amazing footballer.
Yeah,
he just was,
absolutely.
you know, right from that young age, and he could step anyone. He could step anyone, and he was just so unpredictable too with his step.
Yeah.
So he went really well. John Whittaker, but then the old guys in there too, Henry Tartner and Robert Orchard. Philip Orchard had a marvellous tour. He had a record-breaking try-scoring tour.
Yeah.
But and then the older ones there, you know, as I say, the older ones there. I think that was the great part about it was the fact that we had an older and younger balance in the team.
Yes.
And there was some really good guidance from the forwards and.
Yeah.
Roy Christian obviously was a captain and centre.
Wonderful captain.
Well, he was a good captain and a great touring captain too. Kept the boys together and, you know.
Yeah, playing the Poms in England, that ain't easy.
No.
Who's the tough old buggers from the Poms?
Oh, well, the second test I didn't see the end.
Did you get his number?
Yes. and I can actually tell you a funny story about it. It's Alex Murphy.
Yep.
They brought him back for the second test. He was really past his footy days, or he was still playing. He was player coaching at Warrington, and they brought him back for the test. And in the second half, we were going pretty good still, and someone passed me the ball, but it went behind me, and I got the ball and passed it on to someone with my back turned to the opposition. And he came over the top, just woodened me, straight over and whacked me. I'd knocked straight out. The play went down the other end of the field, and if you've ever seen any record of it, I'm still laying back up on the field trying to get up on my feet. Anyway, the game stopped there and they went back to me and they walked me off. And my feet were about a metre behind me as I went.
Yeah.
Anyway, they took me to hospital. I don't even remember anything of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the funny part about it was that I didn't see Alex again until about 30 years later. I was at the grand final in Sydney, and they had the Kangaroos reunion the day before.
Yes.
And anyone who played for New Zealand or the Poms were allowed to go to that.
Yep.
So I went there, and I used to go each year. And then Peter Banner, who was the Welsh halfback during the time I was playing, came over and he said, he brought tour parties out from England for the grand final, and he said Alex is here, and I said, I must come round and see him. So by the time I got round to him, it must have been about half an hour because you talk to people and there's quite a few people on the way around. When I came up to him, he was sitting down and I came up sort of behind him and I put my hand on his shoulder and he said, "It were an accident."
So what happened to him? Did he didn't get sent off?
No, nothing.
Penalty?
No penalty, nothing.
Oh my God.
No.
Hey, in those days, mate, you either got sent off or carried off.
Yeah.
So, and going back, we did mention that before in the opening about Player of the Year for you, 1974, outstanding year for you.
Yes, first year I was named as captain, and it was a good year for us. And
how did you enjoy that, being the captain?
I did. Well, obviously, I enjoyed being named the captain because it was a fairly special thing to be.
Absolutely.
And I did enjoy it, but it can be a difficult thing at times.
Absolutely.
I think I did a reasonable job, and then other times I think, well, maybe if I just concentrated on my own job and someone else was captain, it might have been better. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the fact that I was there and helping the managers and all of that sort of thing, and helping younger players. That's what I liked doing, was when younger guys came in and some of them weren't,
They turned to Granddad Kenny. So can you remember when you got the phone call, or was it a one-on-one meeting to let you know that you'd been the captain? Had been announced?
No, I don't actually recall that one.
Yeah, because that would have been a special phone call.
Yeah, I do remember the call though. When I remember when I first made the Kiwis, I was at work, and because in those days, it came over the radio.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So anyway, I was at work, and funnily enough, with two other league guys, they were Northcote players, and they were the builders, and I was a plumber on the job. Anyway, by lunchtime, I hadn't heard anything, and there's no mobile phones in, so I go up the road to ring Mum home, and Mum answered the phone, and she said, "Oh, don't you know you're in the team?"
Oh, bloody hell!
Yeah. Anyway, what the funny part was, by the time I got back to work, the other guys had heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So it was good.
You know when you went back to Ellerslie, sorry to digress a wee bit there, but when you went back to Ellerslie as a coach, how was that transforming from a player to a coach?
I wonder if I wasn't the best coach ever. I guess my play was the same, that I was sort of into it, and not standing back and looking and thinking about what was going on. So I don't know that I was the best coach around, and I didn't have any real success there, so I didn't carry on.
Did you transition in as a player coach, or you went from I've now finished and straight to coaching?
I was a player coach, which I don't think is
it's difficult to do.
It is, yeah. Some guys make a success of it, but I think what in the days now that you see it happen, or you've seen it happen, is that they've had assistant coaches and co-coaches and all the rest
people
of it
around them,
which just didn't happen in our day. You had a coach, a manager, and a baggage man, and that was it.
You mentioned, being in the test team and on tour with the younger guys coming in and starting to seed in. Can you remember your understudy who arrived, or the next number 7 who was coming down the tube that you'd heard names about?
Shane Varley came after.
Yes.
Yeah. Shane was a really good footy player, he went on and proved he was a good footy player too. Yeah.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, and what about the other young fellas? Any other young fellas you remember?
No, probably through those years there was Shane Dowsett had been there about the same time as me, and he was the second string halfback on the tour of England.
Yes, so midweek games.
Games, yeah. But he always had the pressure on. He was a good player too. He came from Otahu and had been a good player for quite a while. And I guess the reason I got the Kiwis first slot was the fact that I got picked for Auckland first.
Right.
So there was a beginning of the year where an Auckland team got picked, and I was halfback picked for that. And that would have given me the inside running to the
and I guess
Kiwi job
in those days, and we hear it a lot with different legends we speak to, Gordy, is making the Auckland team was sometimes harder than making the Kiwi team.
It was. In those days it was, yeah. I mean, look, some of those players that went on tour it just, got there because of the Auckland team, yeah.
Nice.
Then we leap forward to 2007, and you get inducted into the New Zealand Rugby League Legends. That must have been a special honour, Kenny.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, that's something that you can be very proud of. And my family, unfortunately, my dad wasn't alive then; he passed, but he would have been very proud of that, you're right. It's something very special, and
And very much deserved. I'd add to that as well.
Thank you.
So we talked about the coaching, how different that is. You become an administrator. Holy moly, that's even 10 times tougher than playing.
That's an interesting story too, because we moved from, we were living in Birkenhead, and we moved from Birkenhead up to Dairy Flat, bought 10 acres, and part of the reason for that was to get away from football. So we'd been up there about, we had 10 acres and we'd been up there for about, I don't know, maybe about 12, not even 12 months. And I ran into a friend of mine and at the local pub, and he said, we're starting a footy club up here.
Wow. What's the pub? What was the pub you were at?
It was the one in Silverdale, the Wade.
The Wade,
the Wade,
yeah. Actually owned by
Buck Shelford.
Yeah, Buck Shelford. Yeah.
Oh, you upstarts in there starting the new code, eh? Yeah. Be no more shouts for you.
Yeah. So anyway, he said, we're having a meeting this weekend, and just to see what interest there is. And I said, I'll come along. I said, but look, I'm too busy to be involved. I've got my plumbing business and I've got all. Anyway, when we went down there and they had this meeting, and I think I was the first one on the committee.
Then you had to go home and tell Sue.
Yeah, yes, yeah. But no, it was really good because it was just worked at the right time, because I wanted the boys, our eldest son then, to play league, and I was going to take him down to Northcote to play because it was about the closest team to.
And that would have been a bit of a distance.
A fair old distance, yeah. So that worked out really good, and he was in one of the inaugural teams there.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into.
How'd you enjoy that? How'd you enjoy that?
Oh, it was great. We had a really good team.
Yeah, some wonderful people.
We really did. We had some really good administrators there, and who really were prepared to work hard and get and that it's just shown. And I'm actually patron of the club still, and I get to speak every now and then down there. But I always am so proud of the fact that that's still a community club.
That's a great club.
Based on the families.
Yeah.
They've got really strong kids teams and numbers of kids teams, and they work very hard for them.
Yeah.
And
it's a great setup too. That's for the community. Yeah,
yep.
I agree with great fees.
It makes me really proud of being part of that club.
Yeah, and also Line Red Cup. You were heavily involved with that as well, with North Harbour?
Yes, I was chairman of the North Harbour.
Correct,
team. Yes.
Yeah. Because that's one of the things I wanted to ask Ronnie O'Regan the other day too. The Line Red Cup was a great competition.
Oh, it was
a wonderful competition, and if we'd had that still going today, our game would be way, way ahead of where it is now.
Yep.
So from your perspective at North Harbour, because you had a great team too, how did you see the Line Red Cup?
Oh, no, just as you said, it was a great tournament. There was a lot of good footballers.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we had Dwayne Mann, who'd he'd been overseas playing, and
Joe Wagner.
Joe Wagner was there. Tony Tatupu.
Yes, yeah.
We had a lot of really good players there. Yeah. And the standard of football was really good.
It gave everyone a chance.
It did
spread the load.
It did spread it around, and standard of football was really good in that. And as you say, if that had been a competition that could have carried on, that would have been huge for New Zealand Rugby League.
Yeah.
And I mean, would have been great for feeding into a Warriors team or something like that.
A feeder team, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been a player, we've been a coach, we've been an administrator, but they all fail in comparison to becoming a New Zealand Rugby League board member. That's the toughest gig. And you did two lots of 4 years on there.
It was tough because it was a difficult time when we were there, because in the second period I was there because New Zealand Rugby League went broke in that time.
Yes.
And that was a difficult time to be there. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it still.
Yep.
And I think my role that I took on when I was there was convener of selectors.
Yes.
And I purposely didn't make myself a selector in so much as normally a convener or selector would be a selector and have the convener. Right. Yeah. But I wanted more, because I didn't get to see all the games that they saw. I wanted to be more of an oversight.
Yes.
And listen to their talk and maybe point them in a direction if I thought they needed to. And with doing that, I only ever had to adjudicate once, because they were tied. There was only 4 selectors and they were tied. And only, 3 good discussions, I only once had to make a decision.
Can you share with us?
I can. I won't tell you the player, but I went with the coach.
Oh, everybody wants to know the player. Come on.
I went with the coach because I believe I believe that was the right way to go.
Who was the coach then?
It was Bob Bailey.
Bob. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! No one's going to sue you. Tell us who it was.
Can't remember.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah, good call.
So when you look at that and everything that you've been through right from the get go into today's game, crikey, there's been some changes, good or bad.
Oh, I think to be honest, I guess they're a mixed bag at times, but there's some things you don't like. But I think for the Rugby League, the NRL and the Warriors getting into the NRL was just huge for the game, and the NRL itself now. I mean, I know we have a lot of things we criticise about it, but you've only got to look at the coverage for the game. The fact that the game in Christchurch is sold out already
in June, and that's
30,000 people sold out in June. And the game's just at the moment is going really well. Yeah.
We were talking. Well, a few of our legends have mentioned it actually about the demise of the scrum, and now that they're uncontested. And would you like to have seen the scrum stay as a scrum?
I don't think the watching public wanted to see the ball coming kicked back out and a penalty and all the time. And I just in the end, the scrum was won by the person putting the ball in most of the time anyway. Yeah. So why not just have one scrum and get it out quickly and take those 12 players out of the game?
Yep.
And that's what I really believe in the Rugby League scrum is you take 12 players out of the game and then there's a lot more room for the backs to do something.
Too, in your time, a contested scrum must have been quite a eyeful when you're up front in the front seat having a look at it.
No, the funny part about it is, or not funny, but the scrum always used to walk towards you because the open side prop would stand up straight, and the blind side prop would go down. And you got your hooker screwed around in the middle of there trying to get
legs out.
Yeah. And anyway, and most of the time it came straight back out. And it was we forever putting scrums down. So I just think that getting a scrum over and done with is
back into playing footy.
Yeah. But it was funny because you get penalised and you get penalised or you wouldn't get penalised and I had a laugh because the referees, halfbacks and referees used to be arguing all the time. So it was a few years later we were driving up to Whangarei. There was a Kiwi game up at Whangarei. And I stopped at Wellsford for a cup of coffee and we get out and then the car comes in right beside us and it's a car full of referees. Gary Whittle was one of them. I have him on all the time. Yeah. And they got out and I said, oh, no, that's a halfback's nightmare. And they said, what? I said, a car full of referees.
True that.
Yeah. And speaking of halfbacks, the halfback's role hasn't changed really, has it? It's still, they're still the general.
Yes, I think so, yeah. I think probably halfbacks in our time ran a little bit because, you see, we would run from the scrum too, which you don't see anyone run from the scrum at all these days.
They just ping it.
Yeah. But there was quite a lot of and blindside running because the ball was always put in from the open side, so there was a lot of blindside running. We actually had a number of moves around the scrum also, with loose forward and breaking off, following in it. Yeah. So, I suppose it's changed it a bit.
Double-edged question for you, Kenny. Worst player to play against, best player to play against, worst player to play with, and best player to play with.
And if you remember all of that, you'll be doing great games.
That's a tough one, eh? The best player to play with.
And you've played with some wonderful players.
Yes, I have. I always liked Murray Eade.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, that's one from out of the blue, but Murray was a worker.
Yeah.
Murray was a loose forward that I played a lot with. I obviously was an Ellerslie player too.
But know each other's.
We knew each other's play, and quite a lot of moves we would do break off the scrum. I might run blind and run a bit wide and turn back into Murray. But a very good tackler too, stand-up tackler, and I don't think Murray ever got as much credit as he deserved from his.
He's a big man
play.
too. Wasn't
he was a big guy.
Man.
Yeah. Against player, I'd have to say Alex Murphy, wouldn't I?
Well, that's the worst one. That's the worst one. What about someone that you went, oh my gosh, I'm playing against, and you were very weary of him?
Tommy Raudonikis.
Oh well.
Wow. Well, and he did a visit to Carlaw Park, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah. No. He was, but I got on good with Tommy afterwards. We used to have a laugh about it.
He's a character on the
he was a character.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yes,
From the questions that Gordy's just asked, and I'm thinking about this now, and that is, you get to a certain level, you're captain, you're in big teams, test teams, and all that. When did Kenny know that this was a game that he had to get up for, and he had to be on his mettle against the side that you were going to go out and play, and somebody that was going to be your opposition, and you knew that today you had to bring the business?
Well, probably Tommy Raudonikis was that, because he was, Tommy's a legend in his own right, and you're also just as likely to get a biff in the mouth from him too. So you had to be aware of that. But no, probably early when they brought Alex Murphy back, because Alex Murphy's a legend, in that second test, and I was only playing my third test then. But I didn't tend to dwell on who I was playing against. I was more thinking about who I was playing with.
Perfect.
Yeah, and what we would do, not what they would do. And
you had some big boys in your packs.
We did. Yes, we did.
Some big men.
Yeah. And they could run. Robert Orchard, he was a big guy, but he could still run. Yeah. And Philip on the wing, he was a record number of tries on that tour, but he was a big guy too.
Yeah, wonderful winger. Wonderful winger. When I think about watching you at Carlaw Park, Kenny, there was some wonderful, wonderful games for you, and that whole history and memory of Carlaw Park. That's embedded in your psyche?
Oh, it is, yeah. Carlaw Park, as I say, it's just, it was muddy at times, you just got on with it, you had to. But as I said, the stadium itself being so close, and I don't know, it's just that special thing.
What's your first memory of Carlaw? Can you remember?
Probably playing at a halftime game.
Okay.
For North Shore.
Yeah.
Because they always used to take teams over and play there at halftime.
Yeah.
Like, would only be 8 or 9 or 10, and the other one was my dad. No, that was at North Shore. My dad played in an old boys game.
Oh,
once.
okay.
No, that was at North Shore. I remember that now. Yeah.
Can you remember going out onto Carlaw for the first time as a senior footballer, being in the changing rooms?
I played my first game as a 17-year-old, weighing 67 kilos, against Marist on number 2 ground.
Oh, wow.
With Oscar Danielson.
Oh.
And, I can't remember who else, but they had a fair few. Sam Edwards in their team for North Shore. Yeah.
Wow.
That was my first game.
Yeah.
It was quite funny, really, because I was actually playing junior football, and we trained up at Bayswater, And I'd been up to training, and I'd gone home. The senior team trained after us, and I'd gone home. Or I sort of used to run home from Bayswater to Devonport. And anyway, the phone went, and Dad answered the phone, and it was the coach. I forget his name of the senior team. And anyway, he said to Dad, that Jock Goodfellow, who was their halfback, had got injured at training that night, and could I play on Saturday? And Dad said yes, and Mum said no. Of course she did. Anyway, but anyway, so no, I was real keen to go. So that was my first game, and I went into the dressing rooms underneath the park, not even knowing all of the players I was playing with.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because Ted Cook, and anyone around that age would know Ted Cook. He played in New Zealand Maori side.
Right.
And he became my best mate. He was my best man, and we used to go pig hunting all the time together. But he was the hooker for North Shore, and he was renowned for the scrapping for a ball in the scrum.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came up to me before, and I didn't even put a ball in the scrum to them. I didn't even talk to him before. And he said, "Now look, when the scrum goes down," he said, "just put the ball in." And I said, "Yeah, okay, righto." So anyway, the first scrum goes down, and I go down. I go around there, and I look at it, and there's just legs everywhere. I'm almost stuck there, and I can hear him. He's going, "Put it in, put the ball in." With a few more adjectives along with.
Oh, you're allowed to use them here. You're allowed to use them.
Right?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So
wonderful memories. Wonderful memory.
And
so
the famous name. Sorry, it's a strong name for Northcote Rugby League.
Yes, Ted played there for a long time, and then he went to North Shore from there. But he played in New Zealand Maori side also.
Yeah.
You spoke about your dad giving you quite a bit of advice over the years.
Yes.
If a young player came to you and asked Kenny, the legend of our game, for some advice, wanting to start out to play professional rugby league, what would your advice be?
Well, obviously, firstly, I'd say, you've got to be prepared to commit yourself to everything. You've got to be fit and strong, and you have to have the desire to be there all the time. You've got to measure up for your guys all the time. It's never going to be easy.
No.
But you've just got to do it.
Yeah, because there's an analogy that the guys at the Warriors use, is that if there's 1,000 people that think they're going to play NRL footy, 2 of them will probably get up to play 3 or 4 or 5, 6 games. And that's the reality of it. So you have to have that that 1% more all the time.
Yeah. I was a little bit lucky when I was coming through also, because I used to train by myself all the time because you didn't have team training all through the week, and I was able to push myself in training, and I used to run around Devonport. I used to run up and down Mount Victoria. And the other thing I was lucky with was that I was a swimmer also.
Oh, okay.
Because I fell into that because Glenda, my sister, was a Olympic Games swimmer.
Oh.
Well, that helps. Must be the DNA.
Yes. So when she was younger than me, and we used to go to training. We used to get on the ferry and go to Tepid Bars and City, and I used to take her because she was a bit young then to go by herself.
Yeah.
And one day the coach came and said, "Well, why don't you start training too?" So I started training also, and I just carried on with swimming, and that gave me good upper body strength because of that. The only downfall with it is it's pretty difficult to put on weight when you're a swimmer.
Yes.
So I wasn't very big to start with, and I didn't get very big either.
Yeah.
But
so how'd you do in swimming?
I got a 3rd in the New Zealand Champs.
Oh, there you go.
That's news broken here at the Carlaw Park diehards.
There you go.
And I got a 2nd as a junior and 3rd as a senior at New Zealand Champs.
Yeah, well. So I'd have to ask you, Kenny, just to, some passing finishing words. Your memories of the game. We already spoke about what stands out for you, but as a game as a whole, what would you remember until the day you die?
I don't know. I think obviously it all goes back to my first test, I think, because it was such a great game.
Yeah.
I was only 67 kilos playing my first test. I was really light, and I think a lot of people thought I was too small to play.
Yep.
And I had a pretty good game. I was actually...
Would you have been the lightest on the park, let alone in the Kiwi team?
Oh, by far.
Yeah. And I mean, so, and you've sort of touched on already doing the hill work at Victoria, the extra training in this era, in this time, the people that made that select group of being in the test side, more importantly, being in the weekend team.
Yes.
They did the extra work. They did the extras. They did the hard stuff. And the guys that weren't doing it were probably throwing bricks and blocks around, or farmers jumping fence. Like they were hard men doing hard stuff. And after you played your game, they all went back to work on a Monday morning, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, that was the same. So it was the same. I always laughed too because we had we all drove to Carlaw Park in our own cars and parked them up at the Leagues Club and walked down through all the people to get into the ground.
Absolutely. Well, it's the walk out of the park like this, just extra for the diehards. Did you go to the referees and then up to the Leagues Club and then finally get back to Ellerslie?
No, I think we had a beer under the stand, and then we went up to the Leagues Club.
Yeah.
And as I walked in there, my dad happened to be coming to the front door for something. And that was pretty special when I did that, got there. But then I went out to Ellerslie afterwards, and it was great out there. Man. Yeah.
Well, any last thoughts, Kenny? Any last thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, no, I've been very lucky to have a wonderful family behind me. Sue, my wife, also, since she's done just as much work at Hibiscus Coast as I've done.
Yes.
In fact, she sewed all their jerseys for the first year.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
No, and my family have been always supportive, and I just got to thank them for being that part of it.
Wonderful. Well, anything else from you, Troy?
Mate, I mean, we could do this for hours, right? And it's all the things that you think about after, I should have asked them that, I should have talked about that. I just want to touch on the Ellerslie boys before you go. So, Lindsay Proctor's in the front row.
Yeah.
Is Gailey still there?
When I went there, Robert Orchard, Lindsay wasn't in the front row then. Lindsay was at Manukau. Didn't Lindsay come from Manukau, I think?
Manukau Green Lane or whatever it was called in those days.
Yeah, but he came, Lindsay was a bit younger, and he wasn't there when I first went there. So I was only 21 when I went there.
Right.
And I must have been 20 when I went first.
Because you got a Fox one too, didn't you?
Yes.
Was it 73?
Yeah, 74.
74.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've got the timing right on this. Is it 74, 75? James Lillaway turns up?
Yep. Would be about that time. James and his brother Mike and Mac.
Yeah.
And Mac was a very good footballer too.
Right.
It's very surprising that he didn't go a little bit further. He was a really good footy player.
As and speaking to James, and this is some time back now, he talks about he's turned up. They're playing at Carlaw Park, and he's arrived at underneath the stands there, and he's in the Ellerslie room. And I don't know who knows or who didn't know. And one of the boys go, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Thinking he was playing in the other team. And he said, "No, I'm actually here, and he was awe-inspired, the fact that you were in the room and the rest of the boys were there, because it's probably the cusp of change for the next young generation coming through.
Yeah. James was a very talented player too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As a younger one, the finisher. Yes. Yeah. But all of them lovely blokes too. I don't know of many players that I've been with that haven't been decent guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's your part of your makeup.
Absolutely.
That's how you get there, because you're a decent person. You know what you got to do, and you do it.
Well, so just to round out, thank you so much, Kenny. And as I said before, you are a hero of mine. You always have been, and probably one of the reasons why I started playing rugby league in the first place. So thank you for taking the time to come in. It's been wonderful hearing your memories, sharing them with us. It certainly brings back a lot of memories for us too. So thank you, and thank you for everything you've done for the game.
Oh, that's very nice words, Gordon. Thank you very much for that.
And also, we forgot to mention that Kenny's also on the board of the New Zealand Rugby League Museum.
Okay, yeah.
So,
and what do we do to hire the New Zealand
museum? Get hold of me, museum@nzrl.co.nz. give us a call. Hey, anything you want here, even a wedding. What about a wedding at the museum? Hey,
yeah.
That'd be a lovely
special.
Go off all right, wouldn't it? They'd need to be rugby league people, though, wouldn't they?
Well, absolutely. And by the way, I'm a celebrant, so I could eat it as well.
two birds with a prick.
Thank you, Kenny Stirling.
Righto, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Carlaw Park, the spiritual home, where Kiwi League hearts found their throne. Legends were born, warriors made, on hallowed ground where history played. Carlaw Park.